All right. So hello, everyone, and welcome to Mastering More4apps Smarter GL Journal Uploads. I am Stephanie, and I'll be moderating today's session. So since this is a short webinar, I just want to go over some things pretty quickly before handing it over to our host, Rachana. So everyone will receive today's recording, most likely by tomorrow, so just keep an eye out for that. And then after Rachana presents, we actually have our CTO, Gavin White, here, and he'll give some updates on our cloud roadmap. So you definitely want to stick around for that as well. And then we will begin our Q&A portion. So during the session, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A box down below or in the chat, and we will only answer them during the Q&A part, just to allow everyone to hear the entirety of the presentation and to hop off at the end if needed. And now a little bit about our host today. So Rachana has been in the Oracle ethos for over 20 years. She has extensive experience as a consultant implementing, upgrading, and supporting Oracle applications, ranging from Oracle 11i to cloud and spanning a breadth of modules across supply chain, procurement, inventory, and manufacturing. She is currently a board member in multiple OATUG special interest groups like AR and order management, and is a regular speaker and writer on the topic of supply chains. So let's get to what we are here for. So Rachana, would you like to take it away?
Thank you, Stephanie. Yes, so I'll dive right in. We are all heading in a couple of weeks to the month end, so let's try to make things a little smoother this month end for you all. So let me take over the screen share, and I'm going to replace your here. I'm going to get off camera to save some bandwidth, and there we go. All right. So what we have come out with in response to a lot of what we heard from our users among all of our product suite, we had GL General Ledger journals added recently. And this was in response, huge response to what our users were saying about alternatives. So although they had FBDI and a few other options out there, we heard from our users that there were a lot of shortcomings, and we came out with our More4apps GL Journal Ledger, GL Journal Integrator, the last release, and there are more features getting added. So I'm sharing out the GL Integrator right here. As you can see, it can cover, this is almost the full layout. You can see that it has the batch and the journal, so you can have multiple batches, multiple ledgers, and you can cover all of them in one sheet. You can have multiple currencies. These were the limitations that we heard of. And to get around that, we have introduced one single sheet where you can do multiple ledgers, multiple journals, batches, currencies if you have conversion, and then even DFFs. And there are some more cool features getting added in the next release. We'll talk about that. So all of that in one sheet. But as is customary with all of our solutions and all of our worksheets, you're not stuck with this rigid data set or rigid layout. You can anytime go in, let's say you're not working with reversals, you can go and remove any columns that you don't need, and you don't have to go to IT for that. You can do it at your own end. You can go into, let's say, DFFs, you're not using them, you can delete those, you can pick and turn around any column into any other section, any other position. So let's say I want this somewhere else, I can cut it off of here and put it right next to the account, or before the currency, or anywhere I like to. So you can move columns around, remove columns, and tailor your sheets at the end user level. You don't really have to work through IT or anyone. And as a result, if you have any subsystems or external systems which are feeding any sort of a file, you can actually mimic and mirror that entire layout exactly on this integrator worksheet. Okay, and that's what I've done. You would have it saved on a given month end. In 2 weeks, all you have to do is come in, copy that layout, and if you have a saved worksheet which is exactly mirroring that, it could be really small, concise, and precise. I don't have the DFFs, I don't have the reversals, and I don't have all of those, any other conversion and all of that if I'm going to do just a single ledger or a single batch, or a single currency rather. Okay, but you can mix up the ledgers and you can mix up currencies and have multiple journals, multiple batches in one go. So let's go ahead and spin through this. So I'm going to just take a batch here, copy it, and because I've done all the legwork and the groundwork with it, I can just copy the extract, come into my pre-saved worksheet and just paste it at the right spot here, and everything falls in place. So I'm just doing some adjustments on these accounts. These are the debits and credits. Everything lines up because of the saved sheet that I've done. Now let's look at some of so that was the flexibility that can, tailor it to any kind of peripheral system feed that you might have, or a conversion feed, or any extracts that you might be getting from outside sources. Okay, so once that is done, let's see how we can actually go in and process this. And I'm going to do a validation. So one of the other things that we heard from our users is that you get to know if there's a wrong input on the account string or anything way after. It goes into, it goes in through the log files, it goes through the import program, and then errors out somewhere deep down, and you have to really weed through where exactly it failed, what was the incorrect account string, and then back it off all up to the point of this sheet again, and then process again. Instead, we'll see how this can actually validate right up here on the front end on one sheet. On this single sheet, you can do the entire process from start to finish, and you'll see if I have some erroneous character, as is characteristic when you copy paste from any sheet. There might be some junk characters, so you'll see how it can be caught right up front. You don't have to really weed through multiple layers for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and process this. And I have marked only one of them as, so not here. I wanted to do a validation only on one. And I'm not doing it for each one of them. I'm just doing it for one where I feel like there might be an error. Okay, but literally you can do it a pre-validation on all the accounts. There is a validate before. If you want to, before uploading, you don't want a mixed bag of responses, we can validate. But in most cases, I just straight away do an upload, and it actually encompasses the validation step within itself. So I'll just do an upload, and I can do a selection, or I'll just do an upload all, and it'll run through and make sure everything is correct before going in. Now, hidden between these, although I just did a data, kind of a data dump onto this, there are data forms also. Okay, so you can actually pull it up and look up complete list of values. And I can show it briefly when there is an error or something. I can show how the list of values are all brought in here. So you don't miss that Oracle interface at any point, the Oracle front end with all of its list of values, you get that. Now notice all of the values are not even filled out. They are inheriting from this defaults. The gray row up here is almost like a filler row where you can plug in one consistent value and forget about it on each uploaded row. In each data row, you don't have to bother about it. It just pulls it down from that default. So you can see that it is pulling all of that and filling up the data set. And here you'll notice that I even have some formulas. So if I have a date, I can put it as today. Excel formulas work perfectly well. I can reference the row number. I can reference today's date, any formula I need to. All right, and then I have the period, everything plugged in once here. I don't have to repeat it. That saves me some data entry, and I get the feedback here. It's neatly highlighted. One error, it gives me the error code here, or the error message rather than the code. And it even tells me the corporate product, that is the segment that is having an issue. Other than that, if I go over to the summary section, it's telling me that everything is posted into the Oracle interfaces. And I see a pending status. From here on, it's totally inside of Oracle realm, but I do get a handle here to submit the import program from right here. So it's all done, the entire process. You don't lose sight of the data at all. Within the other solutions, you have to go run an import program sometimes, or sift through all the error logs to see the error messaging on each one of them. But here you get them all back on the same sheet. From start to finish, you can be on that one sheet and never switch windows or lose sight of the data. All right, so once it is in pending status, it's just pending an import run. And you can actually trigger it off from here, even see the log and the results right here as well. So I'm just going to trigger it off with the one ledger that we have, but you can run it for multiple ledgers from here. Okay, and I'm just not going to do the other summary journals and all that stuff. So it's the exact same parameters that you would have on the Oracle submission. It's all available here. Once it's done, you can actually view it if you need to, or give it a little bit, and you can refresh it back here. And when you refresh, you'll see all the statuses back here. Okay, so I'm not going to view the request queue. It should run its course, given a few minutes, and then I can just check the feedback. Now, this was a simplistic, straightforward journal. I didn't even do cross-currency, but we saw that there is placeholders for all of that. And then I can go to some reversal. We can also accomplish reversals here. Okay. So just give it a few seconds and it'll refresh it back. If it's still running, you'll just see pending, but I can circle back to it. We can go to a few reversals. What I'm going to do is just download. There are download capabilities, by the way, so it's not just pushing up from an extract. You can actually download, let's say, last month ends, all the entries, and then do a literal copy of it. You get a head start. So let's do that. I just go to a reversal sheet just to make it a little expanded here with the reversals. And I'm going to download anything from the accounting period of, let's say, last month, or even before that, if we had more activity. So I'm going to use 7/25. Put the accounting period. You can put anything else, such as, which is marked with the pointers. You can put an accounting date, journal name, journal description, even the batch. You can put any of these as the search parameters and do a download. Very useful when you have recurring kind of journals, or month on month, you just want a starting point. I'll just download the July ones, and they could serve as a starting point if I want to manually enter journals for this period. So yeah, there was a lot of activity here compared to a demo instance, that is to say. So that's the 101 journals that it was able to extract on that July time period. And I say yes to removing that, and I can see all of the entries. This gives me a great head start if I just want to repeat these journals. And you'll see that they are all neatly stacked with everything in here. I can validate the accounts if I need to. All the details are here, the header and the line. Now this becomes, and you can see there's a mix of currencies since I just downloaded open without any restriction on the ledger or anything. So it brought back a mix of currencies and everything. And these are multiple batches, journals that you can process from one screen. Let's say you want to do a reversal. It's pretty simple. You can just say a reversal flag of yes. Instead of the no, I'm just going to flip it to yes. And then, yeah, the description and the journal name, we can change that up. So I'll leave it blank. It's just going to inherit from this formula here. Okay, and that's just it references today, and it'll keep it unique. I'll just trust that to keep it unique. And then I can process it. Incidentally, I'm on the UK one, so I might not have the privilege. So I'll just go down to a US one and do that. All right. So all you need to do is the reversal period, change the sign or give it the reversal method. And then you can put a new name to the journal or a description to just indicate that it's a reversal, but you can process a reversal from right everything here. Okay, so let's do that. And it's the same couple steps. So I'll just do this US once. And it automatically processes that, gives the change sign as the method, and it processes that. And it can be followed up with the same submitting port. So that is the basic journal. And then we are coming out, it operates, we have a parallel solution in EBS, just a different color and look and feel, but really operates much the same. If you have an extract, you can copy and paste it onto here, and you can process it using the upload function right within here. I hope I don't, I see it's blocked at my end, but I'm pretty sure it's not at yours because it's the Zoom bar up here. Okay, so there's uploads and downloads, similar fashion. And on top of it, we also have attachments already built in here. So let me just go to a expanded sheet on the EBS side. And I can, yeah, so if I have multiple ledgers happening, multiple batches and journals, and at the end, I can process attachments as well. So pretty similar, just a different look and feel, just a little different icons and all that. But yeah, you have the attachment right here. You can have DFFs, everything the same. Functionality on the EBS side is available as well. And once it's processed, it'll do the attachments. And this neat little feature for attachments, we heard from a lot of users that they need to add that on their existing journal. So we have actually added that. It's up and coming. It's just a sneak preview into it in this little snippet of a video that I'm going to share. And I'm going to show how attachments are going to be processed in addition to the journals that we saw. It's something that will be on the batch level as well as the journal level. So this was the layout that we saw before. And then now we are going to add this batch attachments in addition to the batch information, the journal information. You can process batch attachments and journal attachments. And it just sits in as columns. You'll see it in the form as well. So I'll bring up the form here. So this is how the forms work. You have complete list of values. You can browse to the right file. This is the list of values that you can see here for each and every field. And once you give the file path, you can point to that file, it'll get attached. If it's an attachment type of text, it'll automatically, make this mandatory, the text content mandatory, or you can have a URL. So put in the right information corresponding to the type, and then it is automatically going to go and put that on the cells here, on that corresponding cell, and then you can upload. And this can be done on existing journals. What we did here was adding it to an existing batch or an existing already existing journal. You just had that already uploaded and then added that, or you could do it at the time of creation all in one. So you can even go back and do it on existing ones. All right, so that's the functionality on that. And then on EBS, I can run through a short one just to show how the attachments will work. And in EBS, we also have other modes. You can actually do a budget amount if you need. So you can do, let's say, budget amounts across periods. That can also be done using the GL wizard. We call the EBS solution as wizards, and the EBS wizards have been around for a long time, and it's a pretty mature product. It has built in other features and other modes for budget amounts, encumbrance, and budget journals as well. So the way the budget amount works is you can download by budget organization, and you can build your sheet according to the period buckets, and then you can add them or replace them. So you can even work across buckets, period buckets in one single sheet. You don't have to go line by line as the web ADI would make you do. And we've been hearing that web ADI, there are a lot of issues. This is compatible with any Office, and after the 2006 one, and then it is keeping up with all the Windows updates, Windows patches, and Excel updates. It is robust, and you don't have to worry about the database node and things like that. You don't have to generate the template from the instance. It is a standard sheet that you can just pull up and work out of it. Okay, and work for budget journals or encumbrances or the budget amounts. All right, so let's just run it on this one, and I can show how it's multiple ledgers in this case. Just do an upload, and it does the same kind of validation. And it'll remind you to do the attachments at the end. Because we have included those, it'll process those as well. This also has data forms that we were talking about. And the same kind of flexibility in the layout. You can move columns around, remove anything that you don't want. This one is slightly larger. You can see that it is doing the validation. It found an out of balance journal, and it's right away bouncing it back right here. Okay, and that error message comes on the sheet as well. You don't really have to try and catch it in that window. You can have it processing in the background, come back and look at the synopsis right here. So it tells us out of balance journals cannot be uploaded. So that one is rejected, but everything else is pending. The same kind of hook into the import program if you need to submit, but mostly here we have an automatic submission. Submit import automatic is also a setting. So it automatically has submitted those and given us the request IDs. So all we need to do is go back and refresh the status. And it also would bring back the new batch and journal names from the Oracle values. And it does that on the cloud as well. It's done on both sides. So it goes through that, reminds us for the attachments, and all we need to say is yes on this one, and it'll try and go and do that attachment. So you see the status for the attachment separately here. So that's the full flow and the process. I saw some questions come up. Maybe we can keep that to the end. But yeah, this is a good point since I've already talked about the new feature of the attachment on the cloud, the same thing coming on the cloud. I think it's a good segue to talk a little bit from our leadership team on the roadmap and the up and coming features to look forward to.
Okay, great. So let me share my screen then, and then I will introduce. I'm gonna replace it. Give me 1 second. All right, and so thank you, Rachana. So let me introduce our CTO, Gavin White, before we get going. So Gavin brings an extensive background in both Oracle and Excel applications. Starting as an implementation consultant, he worked as a business analyst, project manager, and support manager before finding his happy place in product management 10 years ago. And he is curious and creative and loves crafting fantastic customer experiences. And today he's going to chat about our roadmap. So let's go ahead and then, yeah, we'll get to all those questions that I see. So good. Take it away, Gavin.
Thanks, Stephanie, and thanks, Rachana. That was a great overview. So you've seen how we can do GL in EBS. Those are the ones with the blue header, and you've seen what we've got in cloud with the sort of pink or purple header. And as Rachana shared, we are about to launch GL attachments in the cloud version, and that's something we're really excited about. Not just the attachments, but GL as a whole. We think there's a lot of value in there for our customers, and it's going to save a lot of time over the tools like ADFDI, and especially over if you're using FBDI. Before we go into the details of our roadmap, I just wanted to recap for anyone who's not aware. Earlier this year, around June, we started our first quarterly releases. And the reason we moved to quarterly releases is really to give you more predictability. So you'll get clear release dates. You'll know what features are coming when. And so it makes it easier for you to be able to know when to be able to pick up a latest release. And so we recommend upgrading your More4apps alongside your Oracle quarterly updates. So as you go through the quarterly upgrade process, have a look at our website or on our community and pull the latest release and see if that's something that's valuable, or there's features in there that are valuable to you, and pull that in. So it gives you the predictability, more stability, and more awareness of what's coming and when. So let's dive into the details now. September release is really all around rounding out our finance and procurement modules. So on the finance side, you've seen the GL, and that was the earlier release, but now in September, we'll be releasing GL attachments. And that's one of the most requested features we've had since we've been showing the GL integrator. And then alongside that, we've got asset retirements, supplier tax profiles, and then we'll also be able to update certain fields in the payables invoice headers. Then on the procurement side, we built 2 new peer receipts integrators. So we've got expected shipments and we've got receiving transactions. Then on the platform side, we've really focused on making things simpler for the everyday user. So we'll allow you to be able to set certain users as just an end user, and that will remove some of the template functionality, making it less likely that they're make changes, inadvertent changes to the templates. And at the same time, we're also giving super users the option to now use the Excel sheet protection functionality. So the standard functionality that's built into Excel, you'll now be able to use that on the templates to be able to lock things down further, all just making it easier and simpler for end users, and avoiding sort of corrupting any of the templates. And then one thing I think people will appreciate is also something we heard a lot is we'll also now be able to show the instance that you're logged into right on the ribbon in Excel. And so that was something will help customers avoid making accidental uploads to the wrong environment. And I know it's something that a lot of people have asked for. So hopefully that's valuable. Then looking across into December, the December release really focuses on expanding our coverage and then also simplifying some of the setup and upgrade side of things, something we've heard a lot about. So we're extending our product definition module into the supply chain with sales orders and the trading partners integrators. Then in finance, we're adding an AP payments integrator. And this one we believe is going to be especially useful if you've moved your supply chain to Oracle Cloud, but you're still running your finance on a legacy system, say a EBS or PeopleSoft or something like that. It'll help you close out those open payables invoices that are in Fusion. On the platform side, we're tackling some of the pain points we've seen around installs and upgrades. We know that that's a tricky process, and there's a lot of different complex paths that you might have to go down depending on what you're trying to do. And so we're introducing a new admin utility, first of all, and that'll let you import profile options. It'll also allow you to import custom job roles that we'll provide per integrator. And so that'll be an optional step. You don't have to use that, but if you do want to use that, it'll just make that process of assigning the right privileges a lot easier, and making first-time installs and upgrades a lot faster. The other thing that we're doing is we're going to add a new access review tool within the toolbar of the More4apps Cloud products, and that'll help you really just quickly troubleshoot any user access issues. We often hear customers who are struggling where typically a user doesn't have the right privileges. And so this tool will aim to identify that and hopefully make it easier for customers to identify that themselves and resolve with the right privileges. So in summary, these changes really are all about trying to help you save time, reducing some of the complexity, and just making it easier to stay up to date with our new releases, so you can get the most out of everything we're putting out there.
All right, great.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Gavin. All right, so we're going to do our Q&A portion now. So if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat or the Q&A section. We have a few questions already, so we're just going to get going. Okay, our first one for Rachana. It was, what is the column header under the color header name in column W? So this was at the start when you're in that GL Journals tab. I'm pretty sure it was that like validate account or something. If you want to clarify what that was, Rachana.
Sure, I think it is that flag where it's validate account here. So
Yeah,
basically it is a little, it goes through a lot of churn when it does a validation on the account string. So we give a control. If you want to do a quick, fast upload and your data is already cleansed, you can flag it as no, so that it doesn't go through each account string validation upfront. But if you put it as yes, that's the flip flag. And if you put it as yes, then it's actually doing an upfront validation. So it's just a trade-off if you want a little slightly higher time in processing versus getting all the errors upfront, just a trade-off balance. So we give you that flag to control. Okay.
Awesome. And another one, can you clarify if the data sheet can be attached to JE at the header level? They need this for an audit.
Yes. Yes, you can attach the same data sheet also. Yeah, you can point to that. Obviously, if it is in editing mode, it's better to, have it done first and then have your separate extract point to the path there, and it'll upload from that file path.
Okay, cool. And then what type of attachments are allowed and how many attachments can be uploaded at once at the batch level? So I know this was asked during when you were showing the EBS side, but if you could answer it to both, yeah.
Right. Yes, yeah, technically there's no such limitation, any attachment extension that is allowed on Windows or on your Oracle. The same can go through. We're just putting the path here and uploading the file. So no limitation on the attachments. And on the number as well, it's not from our product. We can have any number of rows on Excel spreadsheet and upload it, and Oracle can also handle it through the APIs or the interfaces. Yeah, the only constraint users face sometimes are the processing power of their individual machine, or session timeouts, things like that. So they tend to break it down sometimes. If it's more than 2,000, 3,000 rows, they tend to chunk it down into batches of that size. But yeah, it's really not anything from the product itself.
Okay, for budget, can we download the budget template to include actual amount as we do in EBS?
I believe so, yes. You can do a replace, because when you do a download, it gets all the amounts, and then you can do a replace on the past or the future periods. So you can do that. Yeah. And there is an extensive, I think this might be referencing if it's an existing user. I see that it's from Tacit. Yeah, maybe it's someone who's using Budget Wizard. So yes, even on that, there is a capability. That's more for project budgets, but that also has the capability for downloading actuals.
Okay, great. Another one, is your licensing based on the product groupings shown on the roadmap? I don't know, Gavin, is your licensing based on the product groupings?
So we don't charge for separate modules, but when you do license a user, the user would be licensed for a specific module. So for example, finance, projects, product definition, and what am I missing there?
Procurement as of now.
Procurement. Thank you.
Yeah.
But we don't charge extra in order to buy into one of those modules. It's just the same seat fee that you would pay.
And when can I find the details for the December 15th release on the AP payments?
You're welcome
Later.
to
Yeah.
you're welcome to reach out to us. We can share more about what we're building there. We're always, and this is the general offer, is we're always looking to speak to customers to understand more about what their specific use cases are, so that when we design these solutions, we try and bring all of that together. So yeah, definitely reach out, and we would be happy to get in contact and be able to share some of that information.
Yeah, when I send out the recording, I can include Gavin's email in case you want to reach out and ask anything. I think that'd be good. Are budget templates available for cloud?
Not on the GL, but if the question references the project budgets, then yes, we already have it in the project module in cloud.
And
I
then
believe sorry, just to add to that, I believe on the GL side, we're not able to do budgets or encumbrances at the moment, really because Oracle hasn't provided the web services in that area. So as soon as Oracle provides that, that is obviously something we would look to be able to add.
okay, yeah, follow up. Is there a roadmap for GL? But I guess it depends on what Oracle wants to do.
Correct.
Okay. You mentioned that we can make journal entries in one sheet for multiple ledgers. However, because we connect to the More4apps tools using a single responsibility, I believe the responsibility that we should have access to both ledgers. I don't know, Rachana, if you want to read that in the chat too, that might help.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. So you have to have the multi-org kind of access in EBS. If you're talking responsibilities, you need to have access. It definitely goes through all of those controls and access resolutions. So you cannot do it in Europe if you don't have access to. And rest assured that our tools will go through the security. So many times you've seen multi-org accesses, responsibilities are provided to the manager level. So if you're going in as that, you can operate on both. On the cloud, the terms are a little different. Instead of responsibility, it's privileges and roles. So again, on that, we follow exactly, we mimic the authentication and security that Oracle has. So you cannot, you cannot transgress that in our tools.
Cool. How will we know when the release is out? Like, I know we give the dates, but how will we actually know if it's there?
Yeah, I can talk to that one. So in the past, we used to customers used to sign up for a specific release or for a specific EBS wizard and get alerts whenever those were updated. Now that we moved to quarterly releases, we still send out an email when that quarterly release goes out. but it's consolidated across all the functionality that we're putting out, because it's all grouped up into that quarterly release. So we are sending out a quarterly email. I believe it comes from More4apps, the More4apps account, and it will give you a summary of all of the features that have been released. We're also going to be doing more of these sort of sessions where we will cover what's has gone out and highlighting some of the main features, but then also talking a little bit about roadmap. And so, yeah, hopefully those work. If you're not getting those emails, I'd say reach out to your account manager and we can try and work out if perhaps you need to whitelist that email account. But yeah, definitely. And I guess the other way is obviously if you have access to our community, which everyone should do, you're able to log into the community and see the releases there. And one of the other changes that we made when we moved to quarterly releases is we've moved to a new release notes platform. And so you'll actually be able to see all of the release notes consolidated in one place, and you can search across those release notes as well. So I'd encourage you to go look there as well.
All right. We don't have a lot of other questions. I think that is pretty much it. If you have any other questions, feel free to add it now. But like I said, I will include Gavin's email address in the recording email that I'll send out tomorrow. If you have anything that you'd like to add that you think of, feel free to always just reach out. Gavin wants to hear from you always. So that's great. So I just want to thank everybody for joining, and then just, remind you again, just keep a lookout for that email probably tomorrow. And we're also heading to Oracle AI World. I know Gavin will be there, Rach, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be there too, right? So always feel free to stop by, say hi, see what we're showing off and any other upcoming releases maybe. But yeah, and Rachana and Gavin, do you have any parting words?
Just thank you, everybody. Appreciate you as customers, and yeah, definitely reach out if you have any questions or you have an area that is not covered that's frustrating for you. We always want to hear that. So definitely reach out to us.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing some of you in the conference, and always good to connect on our sessions whenever we have trainings or anything. So it's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Gavin, and thank you, Rachana. All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.